The video you're viewing shows several sites of union activity in the Boise Valley during the summer of 2010. You may be surprised to know that this activity is meant to harm 93% of Idaho's construction trade workers. The practice of picketing businesses, job sites, and churches is common in the Treasure Valley, and you've probably seen it yourself and wondered what it's all about. Most Idahoans who see this don't understand what seems to be a simple expression of free speech is really a coordinated national, regional, and state union effort to put non-union, merit workers and construction companies out of business. Most Idahoans are surprised by this. They think that because Idaho is a right-to-work state, unions have no power and pose no threat to non-union, merit workers and businesses. Idaho's right-to-work statute protects workers from being forced to join a union in order to work. Right to work is much more than just a state statute. It's truly an expression of the philosophy of the state of Idaho. When it was passed by the legislature, it was a clear statement that in Idaho, we believe that individuals should be able to get a job based upon their merit, and that they shouldn't be forced to join a union and pay union dues just to be able to work. The state of Idaho has a compelling state interest in protecting its workers through the right-to-work law and other measures that safeguard every worker's right to choose to belong to a union or not, and defending every worker's right to work without having to join a union or pay union dues. Unfortunately, current union activities in Idaho are subverting a worker's right to work and Idaho's right-to-work statute by utilizing coercion tactics against businesses instead of individuals. This includes tactics such as union-only project labor agreements and job targeting schemes. But while businesses may be the target, the effect is the same. Workers are forced to be a member of a union or they won't work. Let me explain. One of the ways unions circumvent the statute is by forcing the imposition of union-only project labor agreements, or PLAs. Here's how it works. Union bosses go to a business that will be building a project. The union bosses suggest to the owner that if he signs a union-only PLA, there will be no trouble at the job site. Sometimes the implied threat works, and the owner requires that every contractor and worker on the project will be union. But if the owner does not knuckle under to the union recommendation, chances are good that pickets will spring up at the job site or at his office. He'll even go so far as to picket the owner or contractor at restaurants, other businesses, or even his own neighborhood. The picketers may distribute handbills attacking the owner or contractor, implying that he does not pay fair wages or provide benefits, claims that are false, but have the intent to convince customers or other companies not to do business with the owner or contractor. So what is the bottom line for workers when an owner or contractor is coerced into signing a union-only PLA? Well, in Idaho, where 93% of our workforce does not belong to a union, it means that 93% of Idaho's workers are shut out of a job unless they join a union. But it doesn't stop there. Another union tactic designed to circumvent Idaho's right-to-work statute and force workers into unions is the Union Market Recovery Program, also known as job targeting funds. Under this scheme, all union workers in a particular region are taxed a certain amount per hour, and the money from their paychecks goes into the regional union's Market Recovery Job Targeting Fund. Then the union uses these funds to subsidize union companies when they are competing against open shop companies for particular targeted projects. They also use these funds to subsidize union companies on projects where they are attempting to coerce an owner into signing a union-only PLA, because this is the only way they can keep costs down for that owner, which helps convince the owner that he should build union-only. This practice is particularly onerous because it does three things. It unfairly subsidizes union companies, taking non-union jobs away at the bid table. It allows unions to picket non-union companies that have no labor dispute with unions, and it drives up the cost of construction by limiting competition, including publicly funded projects paid for by taxpayers. And remember, the union worker who is contributing to the fund has no control over where their money goes or how it's spent. That's up to the union boss. And moreover, there's no guarantee that the union company will ever pay the extra money to workers. It could be kept inside the company. Does this really happen in our region? Clearly it does. For example, upon a close examination of the reports that the unions must file with the government about their expenditures, show that in 2009 alone, the Pacific Northwest Regional Carpenters Union collected nearly $32 million in union dues and fees. Of that amount, only $3.8 million actually paid for union member benefits. The rest was spent on political activities, general overhead, and representational activities, including job targeting schemes. Unfortunately, these schemes have resulted in Idahoans, your friends and neighbors, closing their shops and leaving the state. In 2010, one prominent contractor, after being hounded for years by the local carpenters union, left the state due to union activities targeted directly at him, his wife, and his company. Sadly, for Idaho citizens, when this contractor closed his door and left, 120 Idaho non-union employees were cut out of work due to these union tactics.
Equal pay!
In other cases, these subsidies have not gone to Idaho companies, but to out-of-state union companies who bring their own union workers into Idaho, essentially stealing jobs that should have gone to Idaho workers. Or, still in other cases, Idahoans are forced to join a union in order to work, undercutting the very law that was supposed to protect their right to work. So you've seen the picketers but didn't know why they were there. Now you know. It's big union money forcing merit shop non-union Idaho workers out of jobs. It's time to put an end to these ruthless coercive schemes and protect the interests of the people of the state of Idaho. Senate Bills S-1006 and S-1007 will help stop the unions from undercutting the right-to-work law by restricting the use of union-only project labor agreements in Idaho and by outlawing the use of unions' market recovery or job targeting funds. Please protect Idaho's citizens' right to work by supporting and voting for these two bills. These bills, when enacted, will help Idaho get back to its right-to-work philosophy and help protect merit shop contractors and employees from these unfair and damaging union practices.